Why I stayed stuck as an entrepreneur for decades and how you can get unstuck. Looking back, I can see all of the paths I took, some leading to moderate success and others to dead ends. From the top of this metaphorical mountain, looking down on my past, it is obvious where I got stuck and why. But when I was in the middle of it, trying to push forward in unfamiliar territory, I could not see a path through the dense forest of confusing choices, lack of knowledge and experience, and seemingly conflicting information available in the universe. For decades, I thought I needed a better strategy or another product or service to offer. I chased money through various industries and businesses for a long time until I realized that a few things mattered more and made all the difference. But how do I get them? Sure, I understood that I needed a good attitude and belief in myself, but both are hard to maintain in the face of difficulty, uncertainty, and failure. So what is the magic way to get from lost in the woods where I felt I was to the top of the mountain where I wanted to be? All of it is inner work, and most of it is not new information, but how I finally got that information past my conscious brain and into my subconscious mind. That took some serious work. Now I will briefly chronicle my journey and how I did it. I love when people ask me, how did you do it? It wasn't just one thing, it was a bunch of little things that became bigger things over time. If I absolutely had to put it into one thing, I would have to say it was coaching. Not just with one coach, but with multiple coaches. Now, an important distinction, I only had one coach at a time. But after a while, I would feel like I had gone as far as I could with a particular coach and I needed a different perspective. That is when it's time to move on and graduate from one coach and start with another. Within coaching, the first area I needed to improve was my language. Everything that we say out loud and in our heads is picked up by the subconscious and taken in as mere facts. The hard part about this is that there is another filter, which I call belief, that will also disallow information that it believes is not true. So to simply say I am rich will not by itself manifest that result. There is a lot of subtlety to this, which I will get into in other articles and videos. One trick is how to properly use sarcasm, which is a trick I learned from my daughter Victoria, who goes by the name Sparrow if you meet her today. If she fell, she would say, I am so graceful. Over time, she has actually become less accident-prone and is honestly a lot more graceful than when she was a child. Recently, I taught a multimillionaire, almost a billionaire, that every time he said his handwriting or his drawing sucked, not only was he programming his subconscious, he was also modeling this to all of his students. He is a major influencer and coach to millionaires. Once he understood the impact of his negative comments, he went back to his training videos and actually edited them from "my handwriting is so bad" to "my handwriting is so good," which he then said sarcastically, but now programming his subconscious differently and modeling this behavior to his many thousands of students. The next important thing I learned to master was true gratitude. If I live in a constant state of want, never appreciating what I have, then I will never have what I want, and worse, I will not appreciate what I have. A dear friend of mine and a successful Hollywood writer/producer said to me in a mastermind group, based on results, you are living your dream life. I really had to pause and consider this. I was not yet living in a $10 million mansion, which is what I thought I wanted, but I had been semi-retired for decades. I worked because I wanted to, but not because I had to. I could stop working at any time, and often did, and my lifestyle never dipped or changed significantly. She was right. I created a very comfortable lifestyle that few people ever achieve, and I had achieved this before age 30. But I was working hard because I did not stop to see what I had already created. The whole time from 30 to almost 50, I thought I was struggling until I paused and took a hard look at what I had created. If we never stop to look back and appreciate what we have created, we will stay stuck, or at least that was my experience. Persistence is an obvious one, but not often an easy one, especially when I am still sowing and am not yet seeing the harvest. Consistency also goes along with persistence, especially when building an audience or a client base. This is an area where coaching and/or consulting becomes especially helpful for industry and case-specific metrics. To coach myself through the many moments of doubt, I try to coach myself as if I am coaching one of my clients. This helps to remove the emotion, which can often get in the way of sound decisions. Note that coaching oneself is crucial and is not a substitute for an outside coach who can see things that we cannot. Authenticity is one that is often talked about but not often taught properly. We must be true to ourselves and others, but the notion of fake it till you make it rubs up against authenticity. For the sake of our subconscious, a little bit of fake it till you make it is sometimes needed, but there is an invisible line that we usually cannot see without the aid of a coach. Taking this over the line even just a little and people can quickly see the fakeness, and that repels success. This, like all the other subjects, is worthy of a deep dive in another article. Trust. I thought I was a trusting person until my coach said I was not. I really had to pause and have him elaborate and work with me before I could even see it. And then it took a while to get there. Trust but verify is a famous quote by a former president of the US. How do I trust someone but insist on verifying? Isn't that mutually exclusive? It's not, and that could be an entire book unto itself. Along with trust in others, we need to trust in ourselves. For me, it took a lot of work to look at my successes and weigh them 10 to 100 times more than my failures. Even then, it took a while to get there. Love and respect for ourselves is perhaps at the very core of all of our programs, both good and bad. Some coaches would say that the programs are not bad because they kept us safe at one time, but they are no longer serving us. At the core of most, if not all of our programs, if we ask why 7 to 10 times or more, why we feel a certain way or why we act in a certain way, the answer is usually so we can be loved or respected, and without that, the programming thinks we will literally die. This is because as very young children, we will literally die without love. This was sadly proved in a Russian orphanage, and the experiment had to be stopped early because the babies that were not given love, held, and talked to literally shriveled up and died. This was a long time ago. In my experience, if someone experiences abuse, especially sexually, and told it is love, then they don't want love, they want respect, so that they will not be abused. This is my observation and may or may not be true for you, but be open to it. We will dig deeper here in many future articles, as this is key to changing our programs from the inside out. Was this enlightening? Would you like me to dive deeper into any of these in particular? Is there another subject you want me to talk about, like attracting wealth? Leave a comment or send me a message.